He makes videos about computers on the internet. Timmy Joe PC Tech, tech reviews, computer parts. You betcha.
Alright, how's it going, guys? I can't do an accent, so I'll just... Anyways, Adorn TV. I'm not Adorn TV. I'm Timmy Joe. I make videos with computers on the internet. And I make that accent because I thought maybe I'd do a little, in-depth analysis video. But I do that anyways, and I do not a good job of it. So, yeah, whatever. Worst Product of the Year awards. Prestigious, I know. And coming from... a really terrible place. I hate to have to do this. I wish they would have done better. But Nvidia has really proved that they're out for their pocketbooks. They're out for the short buck. And they're certainly not out for the people that brought them up. I mean, I had a GeForce TI 4200 15 years ago, man. I've been an Nvidia guy for a long time, and yes, there's some AMD and ATI in there too, but a lot of you have been bleeding green for a long time, and then we come up to this year with mining, and it just ruins the market. And Nvidia got into it way too late. Everyone, the mining craze was all about RX 580s and the performance there, and then they started making a whole bunch of 1060 cores and stuff like that they're going to have a hard time getting rid of, or maybe 1070, 1080 cores, and then mining goes... And instead of waiting for this RTX launch and maybe bringing out a real nice budget solution of 1060s at a good price or 1070s at a good price, they decided to go full on with the RTX launch. Jensen sells the absolute living daylights out of this crappy RTX bullshit with no games, one game so far. Well, that's as good as no games. And a big product demo that I couldn't believe when I was watching it. I can barely tell the difference in ray tracing, and I know that it's a cool technology, but admit it to yourself right now, it's really hard to tell the difference. So then we come to the RTX Titan and where we are today, and our good old buddy Jay's 2 cents boof got the first sample of the Titan, and of course it's him. You wouldn't give it to Steve from Gamers Nexus, because that would be a bad video. You give it to your golden child. It's the only review up there right now. The only one that's been allowed to post numbers. And I'm sure Linus has a sample, but they take a little while. They probably launched it on Floatplane or something yesterday. But as far as I can tell, he's the only one that's run benchmarks on this thing. And I can tell why. It's because it's an absolute flop of a product, very niche, and but that's not what Titan has been. Titan has, in the past been a very high-end graphics card. But here we are, $2,500 later, and it's just a crapshoot compared to the 2080 Ti. And that's way too expensive as it is, because, $24.99, can you afford that? Hell no. Can you afford $11.99? And then it keeps going marginally down to the 2070, that's $5.99. Where is the budget gamer? Where is the 99% here? Not a lot of people can afford $1,200 graphics cards or even $600 graphics cards. Their whole system might be $1,000. How are you going to bring out graphics cards that are that expensive and then not supply the demand on the lower end? It's just, I really hope AMD gets their stuff together at CES and announces these GPUs that are supposed to be coming, because we don't need that bleeding edge of performance. We need better performance than we've had for the last 3-4 years with Pascal and the very mediocrity, because Nvidia sits and lies in wait to see if AMD is going to do anything. And if they don't do anything, they go, now we can make our money. We can really make them pay for it, instead of just being a nice company that produces graphics cards, that work. Everything just works, and that provide to gamers. And maybe they're not bleeding edge 4K, but maybe they're better than the 26 or the 1060. Maybe you release a 2060 by now, and I'd be making a different video about this. But no, instead of releasing a 2060 by the end of 2018, you're keeping that for CES because you want to see what AMD is going to release so you can trump them. And instead you bring out this. And then you have, this and this. $24.99, I remind you. The worst product of 2018 as far as I'm concerned. And we'll get into why. So this is where we first saw it. A millionaire posts on his Twitter account, Titan. And we see a handful of people, dealing with this. I guess this was the best way to launch it, because if you had some big launch party, that would have been even bigger BS. And it probably wouldn't have been worth wasting the money, especially considering the performance difference. But then Jay comes out with a video last night, and I want to play a little Jay something right here. This is as bad as it gets from Jay.
When I went through the reviewer's guide and talked to Nvidia about this card, because I had a lot of questions, I basically was like, why does this card exist? Why are you guys undercutting your own Quattro line? And they basically kind of explained it to me and why this card exists, who it exists for and stuff. And there's some tests that we want to run on this card that we've not run before. That are specifically for like AI, deep learning stuff I've never done. That's going to take more time to learn so that we can compare it to older cards, which I didn't have time to get done before today.
Okay, so essentially, he's saying, I don't know why this graphics card exists. Nvidia explained it to me. I don't have the skill set to test why this graphics card exists, but they're going to let me release my video first, which is just fucking silly to me, man. And then, he's not even prepared for it and doesn't know how to test it. And it'll take him a while to figure it out. You know who could have got this done? There's two Steves that could have got this done properly, but the video wouldn't have been a good look for Nvidia. So we're not going to see that video. No. Even though it'd be pretty cool to see Gamers Nexus try and bust some records with two of these things. And Jay has two of them. That's right. We'll see these, pop up over time. I really thought it was absolutely silly that he was the first one to have it. And I know he's known to have the most high-end hardware, but as we see from his benchmarks, it's just ridiculous. So what is the difference between these two things? Well, the clock speeds are fairly identical, but basically, this is the best core. This is one that didn't bin as well. And there's some separation in the tensor cores, the CUDA cores, and the ray tracing cores. But when you get down to brass tacks, these are right from Jay's video. Okay, I averaged out all the benchmarks he provided. And Firestrike, so, it's pretty much in the top here with the synthetic benchmarks. It's about 7% faster. In the games, it kind of varies greatly, but why is he testing this Hitman? Well, I don't know why there's an 8. Oh, yeah, so I forgot to write something. Anyway, why is he testing this Hitman? Like, isn't there a newer Hitman out? And then Metro Last Light, like, what is with the choice of the 5 games he picked? And then one of the games, the 2080 Ti is actually faster by 5%. So you get about a 7% faster video card for 52% more price. That is the silliest thing. And they have Quadro cards with, but essentially these are the same thing. They're the exact same card, just one has a few cores turned off because it didn't bin as well. But there is one thing that you might need. Who knows? You might need. And mind you, RTX, this isn't Titan V. This isn't, meant for deep learning and stuff. This is meant for high-end ballers to say they have the best of the best. And it only has, it has 54% more memory. Okay, I guess that's the one thing. You're paying 52% more for 54% more memory, but only 5% more tensor and CUDA and RT cores, and a 7% faster in games. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's the worst product of 2018. I'm just flipping out. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is that's the cheapest new card that Nvidia has given us this year, the 2070. $600. That used to be the Titan. That used to be the high end. That used to be the the 780 Ti or the 680. But now what we get is really high end, really expensive graphics cards that no one can use because you have to be a millionaire. You have to be deadmau5. And Nvidia doesn't care about their core audience enough to even cater to them or even make their Pascal line available for cheaper. They basically just dried up all the good Pascal cards. Now there's 1060s out there, 1066 gigabyte. They're just going to sell all those out or wait for AMD to come out with something, and then they'll bring out the RTX 2060 that's only as good as 5% faster than a 1070 was. That's not progress. Yeah. So why is this the worst product of 2018? Because it's this from Nvidia. It's, hey, everyone out there, that's brought us up, that made this company. We're on to bigger and better things. AI, deep learning, and I get it. The money is there for that. But you can't take 25% of your company and devote it towards the gamers that brought you up, that made what you're doing now possible. Bring out a 2060 first that's actually like a maybe 2080 or 1080 performance, and then move things up and make the 2080 Ti the Titan, and then not bring out a Titan because you already have a Titan V, or maybe develop something new for that segment, especially if you're going to put it for $2,500 and its brother is more than half as much with basically the same ability and a little bit less RAM. It's getting so hard for me to even voice my words. I'm so angry at this. So what do you guys think about 2018? We didn't see very many good product launches. And I could make a video about the best products of 2018, but it's hands down the Ryzen 2700X. It definitely is, or the 2700. It's not even worth making a video about. Everybody knows it. It's besting Intel's numbers. It's, up there, and we're on the verge of a revamp that's going to make that even better, so it's pretty cool. But AMD didn't come out with anything, graphics card related, really. And Nvidia had all the cards, and they decided to play fuck you full house on the table after they went all in on mining. And we're the ones that suffer. We're the ones that have to clean our bank accounts out to buy a graphics card. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. I'm sorry for ranting at you, but I couldn't believe that Jay was the first person to post the benchmarks of that video card. And I knew it was going to be, barely faster than the 2080 Ti. But how would I know? I don't have Nvidia sending me cards because I'm probably willing to say what's wrong with it. But also, I'm just not big enough. When you have over 1 million subscribers, whatever. You get the cool stuff, even though you can afford it by then. I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Videos will keep coming. And this has been the worst product launched in the PC hardware space in 2018, and that is the RTX Titan. I'll see you guys later.